Hey everyone, I hope you guys are staying safe during these very terrible times. My name is William and I'll be presenting the first half of The Levity Effect by Scott Christopher. So maybe you had a boss who was genuinely funny, cracking a hilarious comment now and then to loosen people up. Or maybe, and more likely, you had a boss who wasn't much of a punster, but she encouraged the group to get silly once in a little while. In other words, she may not have been Amy Winehouse, but she was authentic, genuine, lighthearted, and she let people be themselves. At its core, that's what levity is about. It's not about having fun at work, though you will see how great organizations do just that. It's not so much about being funny, it's about being fun. So this book has a ton of real life tales and analogies to share. Here's a quick example. At one of the world's biggest service organizations, when someone walked the talk, in other words, when they exemplified one or more of these corporate values, the chairman presented a Walk the Talk award, a novelty store set of 39-cent chattering teeth. It might seem like a silly prize from a chairman, but this was not the case. When walking through the organization's cubicle maze, it is noticed that the chattering teeth are everywhere, always in position of honor. One employee had even attached dramatic lighting to the cube wall to illuminate her 3 sets of teeth. The company also had what was called a fun band, composed of bongo drummers, a host of kazooists, and even a saxophone player. When a Walk the Talk award was presented, the march band would march throughout the cubicle maze at corporate headquarters. Several employees said that they had unsuccessfully fought back tears of joy when first paid a visit by the chairman and the fun band. We know what you might be thinking. Okay, they're a bit eccentric over there, but no harm done. It's not exactly professional behavior. I mean, that would never fly at my office. Well, the plot thickens. One day, a new senior executive came to the corporate headquarters. The new manager first heard the band one afternoon while on a conference call with Wall Street. He was mortified. He slammed the door shut and sat in his office for hours afterwards, fuming. At the next leadership meeting, the chairman asked if anyone had any business for the quorum. The new executive cleared his throat and began. He said, "Look, I don't know if you know this, but there's a kazoo and bongo group that marches around here. I was on the phone with an analyst last week. We were discussing $1 million stock market exchange, and this goofy band marches by. It was embarrassing." The room fell silent. People squirmed in their seats, and finally the chairman rose. He spoke not unkindly, but with strength. "I don't know if you've noticed our list of values posted on the walls everywhere, but one of the values is fun, and another one is walk the talk. I guess you didn't see that I was at the head of the marching band presenting a Walk the Talk award in what we think is a really fun way. We can't pay Wall Street salaries here. We may not offer our people company cars or a lot of stock options, but we keep our employees because we have fun and we live our values." Then the chairman added, "And if you don't get that, maybe you're in the wrong place." As it turned out, the new executive was in the wrong place. About 2 months later, he decided to walk. He found a place without kazoos and chattering teeth. And that's the thing about the levity effect at work. It attracts the right people and repels the wrong one. So what is levity? In short, it means being light or buoyant even. The problem is buoyancy doesn't sound very desirable in the business world. However, I found personally that buoyancy is a very close metaphor to levity. With most jobs comes stress, exhaustion, something pulling you down, like gravity. Levity in this case is a life jacket holding you up from the gravity of these negatives. Those negatives are condensed by the levity introduced into these work environments. While in a business setting, some people may distrust it, but when things get tense, drab, slow, stressful, boring, a forkful of levity can mean the difference between working cohesively towards a goal and being hindered by contention. Of course, make no mistake, levity will not fix a toxic culture, make up for poor pay practices, improve your products, or make your workplace safe. It is meant to improve companies that have already established these good practices and give them a competitive advantage over other companies.
Thanks, William. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark, and what we're going to be talking about next is the benefit of levity when used in communicating. Now, I'm sure that everyone here, at one point in their life, has had to sit through a presentation so boring that you can barely stay awake, let alone pay attention. Whether you're picturing a bland lecture that you're only in because it fills one of your Carolina core requirements or a business meeting, everyone's been there, and no one gains anything from a meeting like that. The Levity effect states that a great communicator knows that a little humor goes a long way toward making you and your message more memorable. This claim is supported by a study from Sam Houston State University, which showed that when levity about relevant topics was injected into lectures, students scored 15 points higher on exams than their non-humored peers. All that's great, but I'm not that funny and can't incorporate levity into my communications that easy. However, levity is important, and the book lays out all the details of how levity can be beneficial through the acronym MIRTH. The M in mirth stands for more efficient meetings. The book suggests that humor in meetings can facilitate a transition from a feeling of tension and defensiveness to realization of relative safety and playfulness. This cognitive shift helps create a working bond between the group and promotes creative and unconventional problem solving. This environment helps groups progress more rapidly through the decision-making process. The author provided the example from Amy Lyman of the Great Place to Work Institute. Amy stated that while writing articles or preparing presentation, her and her employees will lock themselves in a room and spend hours typing and tossing around ideas. When the ideas stop flowing, they will take a 15-minute break and talk about the latest episode of The Bachelor or play foosball. After these breaks, the team returns with their minds reset and fresh perspectives on the task at hand. This is just one example of how a little bit of levity can help a meeting become more efficient. The I in levity, the I in mirth stands for informal relationships. This means that it is important for the people in charge to create informal relationships with their employees in order for everyone to be as productive as possible. These informal relationships help management connect with and retain employees. The book provides the example of the Yamaha Marine Division outboard group in Atlanta creating an after-hours softball team. The problem was this team only reached as many people as they could put on the field. In order to fix this and they invite the rest of the office to come out and support the team, and for those who don't attend, they write a comical news column that recaps the game and send it to everyone in the office. Events like these help to create bonds between employees and create a fun environment where people aren't just sitting around and waiting for the clock to hit 5 before they bolt out the door. And on the screen, there's a picture of one of their news articles about the game, if you want to pause and read that. Otherwise, we're just going to move on. The R in levity stands for remarkable presentations. Research shows that the average adult has an attention span of 6 minutes. This means that every 6 minutes during a presentation, the audience needs something interesting in order for the speaker to hold their attention. Whether this be a quick joke or a particularly amusing video clip, something needs to happen. If you go to give a presentation and you are just business, people don't necessarily listen to you. They lose interest. Rather than give an example from the book again, I found my own example from a chemistry professor at Penn State who really went above and beyond. So you don't have to be that memorable in your presentations, but little things like that help the audience to remember their point. And I can guarantee none of his students forgot what he was trying to get across. The T stands for training that sizzles. This entails finding a way to make learning responsibilities lighter while engaging employees. Yamaha Marine Division outboard group in Atlanta, also known as the guys from before who played softball, accomplished this through adding a reward system for their product quizzes. In their case, the top 7 highest scorers got to go on a trip with the boss to get Krispy Kreme donuts. The boss and the 7 winners came back wearing Krispy Kreme hats, carrying 15 dozen donuts for the rest of the office. So, as a result of taking this test, all of the employees got donuts, and the 7 winners got to go on a quick and fun field trip in the middle of their workday. Events like this help to keep employees engaged during training tasks that may seem unnecessary to them, but are important to the company. And last but not least, the H stands for humorous communication. Now, this doesn't mean parading around the office trying to crack jokes like Michael Scott. The key is to implement it occasionally and at appropriate times. The authors provided the example of the CEO of O.C. Tanner Company releasing a video of himself getting run over by a Zamboni, a special effect, to announce the company's sponsorship of the Winter Olympics. Communications like this help to spread important news in a way that is fun for the entire company. And up next, we have Colin presenting.
Thanks, Mark. Not only does adding levity into the workplace create a more camaraderie and more productive workplace, but in the words of Aretha Franklin, respect is also needed for a productive work environment. Respect can be earned in many different ways, but the most efficient is by respecting those around you, and then in turn your coworkers will respect you. An example from the book talks about lifting up those outstanding workers instead of talking down to those who are behind. This will lead to all employees striving for success, building up a healthy work environment, adding in a small competitive nature that brings out the best in everyone, while not undermining those who may not be as skilled. When people make mistakes, instead of scolding them in front of everyone, take the blame upon yourself as a manager and try to show them where they went wrong, or explain to them the task in a different way. A quote that has always stuck with me is "Whisper criticism, shout praise." Chapter 2 in this book is titled 141 Ways to Have Fun at Work. I'm not sure if I agree with all of these because some seem a bit unrealistic, but here are some of my favorites. Offer to shave your head when your team reaches a certain goal. This is a great one because as a manager, even if you're liked by all your employees, will always want to get one over on you. This brings everyone together for a common goal, gives them an incentive to reach the goal that is fun and they can look forward to each day at work. Bringing coffee, breakfast, or lunch on an important work day. This is great because on big days for the company, everyone needs to be on their A game. Sometimes people are running late or unable to get breakfast or lunch due to their workload. So providing them lifts some of the stress off their shoulders and makes a typical hectic day much more relaxed. Buy a gong to ring when individuals and the team reach goals. This is my personal favorite because it's a fun and simple thing that everyone will enjoy because who doesn't love ringing a gong? This gives everyone something to look forward to after they put in hard work to achieve a goal, and it will showcase employees who have done a good job. One of the biggest takeaways I received from this book is that levity cannot be forced and doesn't happen overnight. It comes from trust and respect of the entire team, from upper management to lower level employees. Without this, it'll feel forced, and in many cases, companies new to this, the employees are forced on team building exercises or fun ideas are brought upon them without a sense of comfortability with those attempting it. At the same time, there needs to be an even balance of fun and seriousness. The TV show The Office is a great example of levity, but also how too much is not good. Michael Scott tries to make his work environment a fun and great place to be at every day, which is a great idea. However, he goes overboard and is not respected by any of his employees. This is not good in a professional environment because your job can be as fun as you want, but if no one respects you, nothing you say is important, and a direct order or an important task will be overlooked and productivity will not be the highest it can be. Final chapter highlights the title of the book, which is Why It Pays to Lighten Up. It explains the benefits of just putting yourself in places to constantly be happy and bring others around you up. When something bad happens at work, don't go home and take it on your family. Start every day by waking up and smiling in the mirror. You should be thankful for the life you have and the opportunities that you are in front of you. Especially us as Darla Moore students, school's rough sometimes, but overall our problems are not big enough to bring us down. The point of this book is to bring up yourself overall and then everyone else around you. When people see you happy doing everyday little tasks without a stress in the world, it'll in turn make them realize that the little things don't matter, and then they'll be happy, and then everyone they come in contact with will eventually be happy as well. Finally, these are our discussion questions. Let me move this. How can you actively incorporate levity in your daily life? I think this is a great one that we should all think about, like how we can be more fun and outgoing in everyday life. If you could write the perfect job description for yourself, what would it be? This should help all of us with our job searches. Like, realistically, no one's going to get exactly the job you want, but it's always nice to have a good idea of what your dream job would be, so then you can match your job search off of that. When having fun at work, what is typically the things that you're doing? This is fun just to always have in the back of your head, so you always can bring new ideas to the table at different environments and different team building activities.